Stay tuned for more of the POS show on Stones Radio Networks. You are listening to Stones Radio Networks, the home of the Lincoln Potters. Stay tuned for Dodger Dogs. They suck. You are listening to Stones Radio Networks, the home of the Lincoln Potters. Stay tuned for more of the POS show on Stones Radio Networks. Stones Radio Networks, the home of the Lincoln Potters. Coming up on Stones Radio Networks, the POS show, Phantom on Sports. Coming up on Stones Radio Networks, the POS show, Phantom on Sports. You are listening to Stones Radio Networks, the home of the Lincoln Potters. You are listening to Stones Radio Networks, the home of the Lincoln Potters.
Every night I go to party, Stones Radio Networks presents Pottercast, the best podcast for the best summer collegiate baseball team around, your Lincoln Potters. Hosted by the one and only Mark Phantom Lowe and his sidekick. That's me, Stones McCoy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. It's time for the Pottercast.
And with that, it is time for the Pottercast. I'm Mark the Phantom Lowe, the one and only. That's my sidekick, Stones McCoy.
That's right.
Who was just fired from his voiceover job.
I told you, I knew this was going to happen.
But he thought he had.
Welcome back to the radio airwaves myself by getting my balls busted
Absolutely.
by my best friend and cohort.
What could be more Potters than getting your balls busted out there doing your job, having fun?
I'm glad I'm back. That's
it
all
is the only podcast devoted solely and entirely to the Lincoln Potters Summer Collegiate Woodbat baseball team in Lincoln, California, and we are the Potters Radio in our fourth year now. Our third year was kind of,
it was a shortened
year, but it still was a year. So this is our fourth year. I don't know when we've been more excited about being here. I mean, we are just chomping at the bit. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to lay some ground rules out for you as far as how to listen to the games, how to listen to the shows. We have a special guest we'll introduce in just a minute. We'll talk about old Potters. We'll catch up with some old Potters and find out what they're doing on their collegiate teams.
All right.
And meet some new Potters if our guest knows anything about them.
Well, I highly doubt he knows anything about the new ones.
And we'll also talk about a segment I call Know Your Enemy, which is another team in our league.
That's what I'm learning. I just found out that I have another enemy, so it's a perfect segue.
I know you love to know your enemies. Okay, so like I said, we've been on the beat now. This will be year number 4.
Year number 4.
Lincoln Potters season starts 2 weeks from Thursday as the hated Gold Sox from Yuba Sutter, whatever they're called, come in for a big 4-game series. So we're looking forward to that. And Stones McCoy, sidekick and voiceover guy formerly, if people can't come out to McBean, and we do think there will be a crowd at McBean for these games.
Yes.
Not exactly sure what the limitations will be yet. They change along with the county's tiers.
That's
but we
what
will
it's all
have
about.
fans. We will have fans in the first 4-game series against the Gold Sox. I think season tickets are probably already sold out.
Season tickets are sold out. Single game tickets are available.
Right, 916-209-3444.
Or LincolnPotters.com.
Absolutely right, my friend. And now that you said that, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, if people can't come out and watch that first game, how do they catch the action?
Well, you can catch the action if you're a Potters fan like us. You can catch the action on Facebook. We're going to do Facebook Live, so everybody remembers that from last year.
Right, Stones Radio Network.
Stones Radio Network's Facebook page, also on the Lincoln Potters Facebook page.
Wow.
So I just want to make sure it's out there. And then go over to YouTube. If you're really looking for something,
just do that.
I mean, I know everybody's got a YouTube channel now, right? So Lincoln Potter's got one also.
So
and Stones Radio Networks has one.
The Lincoln Potters have a YouTube channel?
Yes, they do.
To watch Lincoln Potters games.
They have a Lincoln Potters YouTube channel for games, and Stones Radio Networks does as well.
What if people just want to hear my melodious tones described in the action? What if they are...
Why anybody would want to do that?
Video challenged. What if they're video challenged?
They can't do that. They just want to hear the radio call. What do they do then?
Well, they can still do that on the wonderful Mixler app that we use. It's Stones Radio Networks on Mixler.
Okay.
So all you got to do is follow. The best thing to do is follow us on the Mixler app.
That's a great idea.
All right. If you follow us on the Mixler app, you're going to get an email notification every time we go live. So if we're doing a Pottercast, if we're doing Potters baseball, if we're on the road, if we're just having fun,
and we go live doing Potters, you'll get an email saying, "Hey, tune in right now."
That is a tremendous thing.
So
I like all of those things.
You got to follow that. But again, if you can't do any of that and you forgot there was a game, and shame on you if you did, there's a schedule out there. Go get one. Pick it up at the office. All you have to do is go to iTunes. Follow Stones Radio Networks on iTunes.
Man.
It'll be in your download within 2 hours after the game.
And also we're on Twitter as well.
Oh, we're always on Twitter.
Yeah.
But what we do on Twitter, we do short clips and
Right.
stuff. We're not broadcasting full games there. So, but follow us on Twitter for all the information.
I did see a little clip you put out a couple hours ago talking about this show starting up again.
Yeah.
I did not know you did the show by yourself.
I didn't bother to mention you.
No, not at all.
I tagged you. I figured that would have been enough. But you, I got to drop your name everywhere I go. I go to the supermarket. Hey, I know Phantom. Oh, well, go ahead and cut in line.
Go ahead and get free gummy bears.
Yeah.
But the thing is, now that I said that, I'm going to start a new game.
Uh-oh.
I want you to put out little video clips at different times of the day. I don't think people would be able to tell what time of the day it is by your face because you always look the same in those things. You always
I don't know
look
what
like
you're trying
you
to
always
say,
look like
dude.
your wife just came in and shook you awake and said, "It's time to get up," and you went, "I got to do a video clip."
That's why I put a hat on for this show. Thank you very much for busting me.
So we have, like I said, the upcoming schedule starts on the 27th. We have this year on the radio broadcast, we're going to do something we did 2 years ago, which is have guest announcers for selected games.
Oh.
You country fans, we've already got commitments from Pat and Tom from
Wait.
KNCI
Both of them?
on separate days.
Okay, thank you for splitting those two up.
Now, Pat still came out a couple years ago. His
Yes.
son was a pitcher in the college level, so he knows the game. If you'll remember.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember, he basically took over.
He totally took over. You weren't even allowed to be there.
I didn't even know what was going on,
Yeah.
which is not surprising. Anyway, but Tom is not a baseball guy. Tom is like a fisherman hunting guy.
Ooh.
And I keep trying to get him to come out and do it. And he says, "Well, I don't know anything about baseball." I said, "Well, I just want to hang out with you.
We'll talk
I just
fish.
want to hang out. I don't care."
I'll talk fish.
So this year, I finally I think I put a dent in the old defense there.
Yeah.
And I got him, and I says, you pick the day. It doesn't matter. Any day, a Saturday, a Sunday, whatever. He goes, I can't do Saturdays because I'm usually fishing. I said, what about Sunday? He said, okay. So he agreed to a Sunday on the 13th of June.
Excellent. People,
So-
mark your calendars.
No, don't mark your calendar.
Oh, no.
Because Tom being Tom, he just texted me.
That's right.
He just texted me today. He goes,
That's right.
I can't do the 13th, the day I said I had to do because I was fishing on Saturday, because I'm fishing on Sunday. He said, how about Saturday? I said, let's do that
All right,
then.
so now we're back to the 12th.
So the 12th is Tom Maley from KNCI. Pat Steele is on the 25th of June. Whitey Gleason has also given me a commitment. We don't have a date for him yet.
All right.
We're reaching out to a couple other people in the area and trying to get them to come in and
Yes, we
share
are.
time with us. Now that we have the great press box, which I know we have to call Sky High.
It's the Sky High Broadband.
I call it Phantom's Place. That's
Okay.
what I call it.
Well-
Now that we have Phantom's Place, I think a lot of people are going to want to come in and hang with us because it's really nice in there.
Well, and I'm not sure if you saw this or not, but this new sign was put up on the backside of our
I did
booth.
see that, and it didn't mention me at all.
It didn't mention either one of us, but I am very proud to say that it is now the McBean Memorial Park.
McBean Memorial or McBean Memorial?
Whatever you said. Whatever you
I
said.
like it better your way.
I like it the way I said.
So that's all coming up. We have all kinds of other stuff coming up. We have special home run innings this year,
Oh, yeah.
and I think
Oh, yeah. I wonder if we have any home run hitters, though.
we'll find out in a couple of minutes, I think,
Okay.
about that. But we have home
All
run
right.
innings just like the big guys do. I think we're going to do something around double plays. I don't know what it is. I sold it to Matt,
Yeah.
and now I don't know what to do with it. But I was telling him the two things I like to call the most are obviously home runs. I love to call it when the Potters turn two.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we got to get something out there, and I think he's already got sponsors for it and everything for the Potters when they turn two.
He does. You just better nail this thing down. Is all
I have
I'm
no
saying,
idea
okay?
what it is I'm doing.
You pitched this wonderful idea, but you have no clue as to where it's going.
I pitched it. I have no clue. But now that here's the thing that I may not have even taught you this after many years. Once you get it sponsored, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you have it. You can go, hey, just come by the broadcast booth and say hi. You get it. Okay, way to go.
Yay.
It doesn't matter as long as we have a sponsor.
No raffle.
All right, enough of your foolishness. Let's bring in our special guest.
You know what? I was just curious. Let me. I want to see something. So just
Oh, that's
bear
right,
with me
because
1 second. Yeah,
you've got a lot of stuff going
I just
on.
want to see if I still have this.
We're in
I
a
do.
2-shot right now, and you
So-
want to go to a 3-shot.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go to a 3-shot, but I'm going to give the man his proper due. Okay.
Okay.
If anybody
Welcome to
remembers
another
this.
edition of the Ryan Stevens Show.
Remember this?
Oh,
Brought to you
yeah.
by Fitness Systems.
That's right.
We're the Potters.
Here's the
train.
big guy himself,
Call it in, 916
Mr. Ryan
253
Stevens.
3600.
Ryan Stevens, welcome.
Ryan Stevens Show.
Oh, I don't even know what.
Look in behind the
You
scenes
introduced him, and now
of
you're
your
still
Lincoln
talking.
Potters.
Dude, look.
Every home game.
This
with
is
the
his
radio
bump.
voice of
All
your
right.
Lincoln
Look at him
Potters.
now.
Mark.
See how fired up he is?
Yeah.
Okay?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark, take it away.
Thank you, Stones McCoy.
You're welcome.
Again, proving yourself an invaluable asset to the entire community and the broadcast.
Dang
Ryan
right.
Stevens, welcome, my friend.
How's it going? Gentlemen.
There it is.
It's going fantastic, and it's great to see you. That means not only is it great to see you, but that means it's almost Potter season
Potter's
again.
time, buddy.
First of all, how you doing? How's the family?
Everything's been great. Family's doing awesome. Just getting through, all the new normals and everything going on right now. But
Yeah.
you know what? Everything's been fantastic, and been blessed to spend some time with them and getting ready to hype up and get ready to go for the Potters.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, you have been doing some coaching. I know you do work with Louisville Slugger, but you've also been helping out is it William Jessup you're working at?
Yeah, this is my first year with William Jessup softball, and it was first year for everything. But I had a fantastic time. The girls were great, and we saw some success against some really good teams, and I think we're moving in the right direction there. And super excited for the future there and see what it holds for the girls going next year.
Now, is that something that kind of just fell in your lap, or was it something that you I can't imagine that you went looking for it, but it's something that said, hey, come on out. The famous manager Ryan Stevens come out and give us a hand?
Yeah, no.
The famous manager, Ryan Stevens.
That's
Come
what I
give
call
us a hand.
That
No
should be his
humbling,
jersey.
no.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, no, it was a good friend of mine was got the head coaching job, and she was kind of looking for some help there. One of her assistants left, and I've worked with a lot of the girls at Louisville Slugger in testing, and so I just kind of felt a passion there and an obligation to help them out. And you know what? It was a blessing in disguise, and I met a really good group of girls there, and they were awesome for us, and they really absorbed everything that I taught them, and they applied it, and it was just seeing all of it through fruition in a different sport, seeing softball in fruition. It was really cool to see, and it definitely moves different than baseball. Skill set stuff is the same, but the pace of play, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Well,
much different.
I'm from a softball family. In fact, you helped my daughter with her swing tremendously out at Louisville, and I know that you have a passion for baseball, but a swing is a swing, and you have the ability to teach swing. What were you able to really help hone the girls? What were some of the skills that you were able to give those girls that translates from what you give the guys in the Potter's world?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it started with the mental approach first, right?
Yeah.
Getting them dialed in on what to look for, not swinging at everything. Definitely establishing a zone to look for and pitch selection. And I think that's something that kind of gets overlooked at that level where we get just so used to putting the ball in play. And, then we applied the physical aspect of it. And I think, applying, baseball and softball, it's real similar. It's all about timing, when we get our foot down, when we get our hands to the ball, get to extension. And, I think offensive numbers-wise, we did a great job. We led our conference in extra base hits,
Awesome.
home runs, RBIs. So, I mean, hitting-wise, we were outstanding. And, it would be the same thing I tell the guys and the girls. If you're swinging at strikes and your approach is good, you guys are going to be successful. But the main thing to have is confidence. If we don't have confidence at the plate, we're going to struggle. And I think that's one thing that I can say I bring to the Potters and to the softball world is the mental side of the game and preaching confidence into a player where, they might get down on themselves in certain situations that they didn't really know they were doing it.
Yeah.
And you can just see it on their demeanor. And I think that's something that, I try to push into them is confidence is key, and that's the only way we can go moving forward.
That's awesome.
I want to go, obviously, look at the season coming up, but I want to take a second and look back at that strange season that we almost had. It was very weird for us. We do a show for people who can't be there, and yet we really miss the people who usually were there when we were doing the show. So fans affecting us is strange. I know the fans affect players all the time. How did you adjust? How did you help your players adjust to the fact that, and I know they played college ball, so there's used to not a lot of people, but still, in the summer atmosphere, there is a lot of people. There weren't last year. How did you deal with that with them?
I think the big thing was that we're still trying to compete and get better, and it was one of those things that it was a blessing for them just to get a chance to play with the whole season that came around. So I think I turned it into more of a learning lesson that you don't really know when something could be taken away from you. And, if we give energy and play as hard as we can, there are people watching. We have a great following, and, I know our fans were tuning into the live feeds and stuff like that. So I try to tell them just to play with emotion in the dugout. And, we were blessed with such a talented roster last summer.
Oh,
that
yeah.
It didn't take much mental talk to them. I mean, they were ready to play each game. And, just physical talent alone, they were really good. And I think we definitely missed our fans, though. I'll tell you that. I think it's just such a weird dynamic.
That.
It's a weird dynamic when you can hear everything on the
Yeah.
diamond, every single pitch hit the glove.
Yeah.
Normally you have people screaming and talking and kids kind of playing.
And all you could do was hear me last year, and that was the downside
So there
to it.
were-
I felt bad.
So there were kids playing. They're good, yeah.
But we missed it, man. We missed it. We're excited to see some of the fans back this season.
I always ask you, when we look forward, I ask you to give me one word before the season, how you're feeling about the season. Can you do the same thing, but about last season? I would think maybe grateful would be a word to describe it. How would you describe last season in one word?
I think you hit it on the head. It's grateful and blessed. I think it's just the chance that we got to get on that field, right in the thick of everything going on, and people being told they're not going to be able to play in the spring or didn't get to play last year, and just the fact that we gave them an opportunity to hit the field knowing what we were putting ourselves into, without knowing the consequences, essentially. I mean, we kind of follow the public health lines. We're doing everything we possibly can to get on the field.
But nobody's totally sure.
But we're not sure exactly what's going on at that point in time. Now we know a lot more about it. Now we know a lot more how we can move forward. But then just kind of doing things with a trainer and working with the local doctors and stuff like that, it was just such a weird dynamic. But blessed to be on the field and actually play games against other people.
Talking to manager Ryan Stevens on the first ever Pottercast. It's our 4th year. That seems like a long time. It's your 5th year. Are you surprised that it's the 5th year of Ryan Stevens as the head of the Potters?
You know what? Yeah, it's something I've kind of looked back on here over the past year coaching the softball stuff, and 5 years has just gone so fast, and I think that speaks volumes on upper management and the players that I've had. It just goes by so quick. But it's such a passion of mine that, I'm so excited and blessed to be where I'm at with the Potters. And, I think that should say where I'm at. I mean, 5 years into it, I'm still going strong.
Yep.
I got 2 kids, so
you're pretty good at it,
I try, man. I try. I really try. And, all the experience and the people around me is what makes me good.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it's all about. The coaching staff I've had, the players I've had, you guys being what you guys do for us. I think everything, the whole dynamic of the Potters is so special that I don't know why you wouldn't want to play with us in the summer.
Absolutely.
I keep coming back to it, man. I wanted to ask you a question. It's kind of picking back off of the question Phantom last asked you. Last year was so difficult because of no fans and not sure and all that stuff. You also have to remember that a lot of these guys, they didn't have anything to go back to either. They didn't have places to go play after the fact. How much of an impact did last year have on the guys coming in for this year? Because a lot of the guys you talked to last year, you knew their situations and stories, and they didn't have anywhere to play initially when they went back. What's gone on, and how has it affected them? Because it's almost as if they got a free year,
right?
Or actually a year taken away. I mean, what kind of impact has it had on the players that are coming in?
I think for the players coming in, it's one of those things that they're not, like I said earlier, they're not taking things for granted. And, I think this spring season, the guys that have gotten a chance to play, I think that's almost everybody at the collegiate level. It's one of those things that you almost got a free development year because you really got to see the start of the season, right, as a freshman or a sophomore, junior, and go back and apply what you weren't sure about, right? And I think it's been, such a great opportunity for certain guys. And they took it in a positive where they kind of got to look things over, apply. I wasn't really doing that this well, but now after I've seen college pitching, I'm way better as a freshman because a lot of these guys got their year back.
Yeah.
So now they're a second-year freshman, and just that experience alone will give you longevity and success at the next level. And I think that you're seeing that with a lot of guys we had this year or last year, and then the guys coming in this year. We have such a talented roster coming in this year to follow up last year's roster that. Matt, our GM, is just elated on what we've done recruiting wise, but the numbers just don't lie. And I think, through and through, it's just everybody's been so successful because they've gotten that, kick in the butt per se. You got to work harder because you don't know when it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, everybody's working out. Everybody's
awesome.
doing long toss. Everybody's hitting extra because you just don't know. And I think that's starting to prove with all the numbers and the stats that are going around on our roster specifically.
No,
that's cool.
That is kind of fitting in what I was thinking about asking you next. We talk about you in your 5th year and everything, but you're not the same guy you were in your first year. So how have your philosophies changed as far as the way you set up the season and everything like that, changing from 2017 to 2021?
I think the big thing is just learning as you go. I think when my first year here, you're trying to get your feet wet, trying to get established, trying to put the Potters on the map to be something that, college coaches can trust when they send players to us. They know what they're getting when their players come to Lincoln. And, over those course of the years, I think it's changed into more of, okay, this is our identity. We play hard. This is what we do. You're going to learn. You're going to get better when you leave here. And now you're seeing that into fruition on the roster. If you look at our rosters in the past 2 years, the Pac-12 schools, the SEC schools, the bigger schools in the Big West, they're starting to trust us as a program and understand that, when they come here, this is actually really good baseball. They're learning from a good group of guys. And, we also teach what they're teaching and the camaraderie and everything that they're learning along the way and the relationship they've made with the other players.
I'm watching Pac-12 games and I see, Susak head, he's hugging Eddie Park and, Eddie Park's playing against him. And I just think, just seeing that dynamic of where it started to where they're at, it's just so cool for me. And I think that's what the coaches are seeing as well.
Well, I have a question. I'm calling my Stones McCoy question. Usually we get together and I ask you about some of the guys that you coached, you managed, and success stories and everything you built. I want to go a little bit off the beaten path today as we do Pottercast. I want you to compile for me a list of a couple of guys, some of the great characters that you've run into in your first 4 years as a Potters manager. Stones McCoy is our character at Potters Radio. I have a couple of names in mind just for myself, but I know that I don't know, but I think that one of the joys that you have is the interaction with these guys that you have on a daily level, getting to know them as people and stuff like that. And there's some weird cats that come by. Okay, it's Lincoln, baby. So if you could just tell me, tell us a couple of guys that stick out when you're thinking about all-time Potters characters.
I think going back all the way my first year, I got to say Will Law's up at the top. I just think the dynamic he brought, on the field, but then off the field, it was just, it's just like, oh, yeah, that's Willie. He's just crazy guy in the dugout, always talking, always got something going on, but then flips a switch and he's the maddest guy in the dugout and spiking his helmet and throwing his bat. And it's like, wait, what just happened? I don't understand. You were just 4 for 4 and now you're 0 for 4, but we can't handle that.
Yeah.
And, love Willie. I think he's one of probably the all-time great Potters ever.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
I think that same year, Brian Morley comes to mind.
I love Brian Morley.
Just because talent alone, but also the stuff you don't see in the locker room that you guys might not see.
Okay.
He's probably one of the most funniest guys that's come along when worn our jerseys.
He struck me as relatively a quiet guy.
He's absolutely
not.
Well,
one of my favorite right fielders, though.
Yes,
so,
no, absolutely. That's you just revealed a little
that
bit
is
there.
You're right, Stones. That's one I had. I got a couple in my mind.
Okay.
But that was not. Of course, we weren't around the first year, but
No.
still, we saw Brian in the second year. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 years, I got to give Rad Thomas a shout out.
Okay.
That's my name.
Was yours?
That's the one I thought. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, it's
absolutely.
pretty
Okay.
obvious what he
All
did
right.
for a team. But go
Yeah.
ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things about Rad is you look at his spring seasons with the JC level and then how he earned a spot to go to the Pac-12 and pitch for Washington State. It's just kind of an odd success story where he didn't really get to pitch much because of arm injuries, and then when he did pitch well, then he'd get hurt again, and then his confidence would be shot, but it never changed him as a human being. And I think that goes a long way for somebody's character. And he was literally the energy of the dugout the last 2 seasons, whether it be shouting for our guys, going in the bullpen, then he comes out, and then he'll throw strikes and he leads by example, but then he's the loudest guy in the dugout every single inning. And in the summer, at a collegiate level, that is so hard to do with guys you don't know.
Yeah.
To just continuously be the confidence guy and then flip it and be a bulldog on the mound. And so I would say Rad's right near the top of all-time great character guys for the Potters. There's been a ton throughout the years. Tons.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the guys that
stand
make
out.
it fun for you to come to the park every day. I know you love baseball, but you also love the guys.
Yep.
And they're just always on every team. There's one or two that come out, and we weren't around the first year, so we didn't know about Will.
Yep.
But there's always one or two that even we see up top. We love.
Josh Savea seemed to be one of the guys that just was. He seemed to be one of the outgoing, rah guys, a real good teammate, somebody you really want on your team.
Yeah, Josh Savea is near the top of good teammates as well. I think I would say for the Potters in general, we've been blessed with quality clubhouses. I think once the guys come in and understand what we're about and then start sitting, in a closed room where they're like, okay, I got to learn with this guy. This guy's from UCLA. This guy's from Stanford. Okay, this is weird, but But then once that first week hits, it's you can see it immediately, who's the clicking and who's doing what. But then the whole team kind of goes midseason. And it's this is super special, and this is why I do it.
Yeah,
to see that all in fruition. And I think another sleeper that you might not know about is this last year's Ethan Mann.
Oh, I would not have picked Ethan
under
Mann.
the radar.
Yeah.
Ethan Mann was probably one of the wildest character guys in the clubhouse that
Wow.
you could just never understand exactly what he was thinking, doing, wanting to say.
So he was
but
a college kid. Yeah,
but kids,
I
but kids
understand
followed
that.
him around. I mean,
Oh, no way.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I would disclose some things here. But
No, that's not.
don't know how far
we're-
we need to go.
We're not,
We'll do another
yeah,
podcast.
we're Pottercast. We're not Pottercast after dark.
Right,
Okay,
right.
that's not what we're doing.
We could be.
Great answer. One more thing, as far as this part of the interview is concerned. People come to the Potters games. Kids come to the Potters games, and as the Potters get bigger and bigger, I think kids will come and try to emulate the kids that they see. So, in your mind, you teach kids of all ages baseball. What is one thing in your mind that players in 2021, if you're going to be a player, what's one thing you really have to have?
I mean, at this time and where we're at in this world, it's physicality. I mean, and being stronger, work ethic. I think work ethic's a huge one. If you don't have that, if you're not willing to go out and do the extra work, you're going to struggle at the next level. You can get away with it at Little League, travel ball, but, once you get into high school and then college, the guys that set themselves apart are the guys that get after it in the weight room. They take the extra swings in the cages. They take extra reps, or pitchers really focus on throwing strikes, not just throwing. But that's really what separates you once you get to that level. And I think when the young kids come in our dugout and run out with the guys, I think when they're looking up, that's the kind of what they're looking at. It's like, well, I didn't know that they were this big. It's kind of like when we go to the Kings game.
Right.
And we're sitting on the floor and we're just like,
Oh, wow.
I
That's
did
what
not
6'10" looks
know
like.
Yeah, that's
these
exactly
guys
right.
run that
Yeah.
fast with that kind of height, with that kind of muscle. That is, it is impressive physicality that you just don't see that separates them from the average person. And I think that's like the biggest thing for the young kids these days.
Excellent. Thank you, Ryan. Now we're going to go to another segment, and this is a Stones McCoy engineered segment. It's called Old Potter, New Potter.
Old
And-
Potter, new Potter.
Oh, I forgot Mr. Voiceover over there.
I had to do something.
Yeah, it
That's
was-
going to be a play over.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we're gonna.
Feel it.
Maybe Ryan can record
Feel
that.
it.
Hey, well,
we're gonna
I'll keep
gonna
them late tonight.
touch base with some former players and find out what they're doing right now, and then talk to you about some new guys. Now, as we formulate this, Clifton's going to be our guest next week, and
Yes.
we count on you a lot in this segment. And I don't know how much we're going to be able to count on Clifton to do this next week, but it should be even more interesting to find that out.
Clifton just
So,
confirmed for next week, by the way.
I want to talk to a couple. We have, like you say, Ryan, we have so many great guys. We have so many great players that have come through. I mean, really, just a load of great players, great talent. And as you say, we've seen them now at Pac-12, at SEC schools all over the country doing stuff. So I just want to talk about a couple of guys from the past. And our first guy we want to talk about is he played a couple of years for us. He played all over the place and has found some success on the mound, and that's Zach Patterson.
Now batting for your Potters, number 15, first baseman, Zach Patterson.
I could have just let that happen.
Well, I like
Zach,
that.
no home runs, but he has driven in 6 runs on the season for Lincoln. So he's up with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first. Potters with the 1-0 lead. First pitch is swung, hit deep to left field. They're going back. They look up. That ball is gone. It's a grand slam home run for Zach Patterson.
That sounds like Patty.
That was nice. That was
yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Patterson with the grand slam. Well done on the Soundstones. Zach now at University of Pacific. And Ryan, are you a little bit surprised? He's not playing a lot in the field, but he's got 2 wins and 2 saves on the mound, striking out almost a batter an inning. What do you think about Zach Patterson down in Stockton?
Yeah, I'll be just as shocked as you guys when I saw him not really hitting anymore, just because I know the physicality he has, and I've seen the numbers he's put up the 2 years at Ohlone, and so I had to imagine that would translate to UOP. And I knew he had a live arm on the mound. We've seen it here and there, and I think it's one of those things for Zach. It might be a future thing, and I think in the future, draft-wise, he might have seen more potential on the mound, or Chris Rodriguez at UOP saw more potential on the mound. And I was watching their game against Stanford the other day, and he ran it up to 94, and he had a big old curveball and a changeup. So his stuff is definitely draftable stuff. So
Yeah.
I could see why he's focusing on that. And I know two-way player stuff is just so hard these days. It's very hard to be very dynamic on the mound and then also be dynamic in the
Very
field.
difficult.
So I think for Zach, it was just one of those things where it was a turning point in what he wants to do in his future. And I think he just decided that with as live as his arm is there, that he's going to try pitching. And you know what? I've seen him be really successful there this year on the mound for UOP, and I really hope that it works out for him, because Zach's one of the best character kids, just quiet but gets after it, always in the weight room kind of guy. He's just one of the best.
I think my Zach Patterson autograph balls over there. I couldn't let him leave without making sure I got one of those. And I'll tell you, and I will tell you, yeah, we know Zach Patterson can hit. We saw that. I knew he had a good arm, but I never saw it like you saw it at all because I didn't watch his pins or anything. So I didn't know that was going to happen. But when we talk about draftable, okay, and you mentioned it, draftable. It just seems like it's much more a draftable concept to be a pitcher. If you're a pitcher, you have a much higher draft stock than you do as a position player nowadays. So do you think maybe that's kind of the reason why he's seeing more time on the mound right now?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, like I said, it's a dime a dozen if you're a guy that bats 300 and hits 10 home runs. So
yeah,
if you're 94 plus and you're pitching, that's an oddity. I would say more so now. People are throwing that hard. But I think as a scout, you'd probably look at, potential.
Yeah.
He just started pitching full time. He's up to 94. What if we really focus on this? We could get him up to 98. I think that's kind of what the dream set is for a scout of seeing him play because his physicality's there. I mean, he's a super strong kid. He's got the size. He's tall. So I really think that's probably what he saw and what his coach explained to him. And, he's seeing some of that reward pay off, and that's without really focusing on just pitching.
Yeah.
So wait till that kid, has a full off
season. Oh, yeah.
So he could be super dynamic for them.
Zach Patterson, not the only great hitter that the Potters have sent down to Stockton at UOP. There's another guy, a Lincoln guy, who seems to be, he's got a pretty loud bat himself, Mr. Charles Middleton.
Curveballs hit that ball is, and I told you that ball is a home run for Charles Middleton. Second one of the year for Charles Middleton. He just swung and hit to left field, and everybody just quit. Even Tom Duncan, who doesn't usually pay attention, said, that's out of here. That's how I knew it was out of here. Second home run, 13-run bat in for Charles Middleton, answers Jacob Terreo, and it's 10-4 Potters. Charles Middleton, Lincoln born and raised, Lincoln Little League, Lincoln High School, Lincoln Potters.
We need a professional baseball team in Lincoln so he can play for them.
That's a great point, Mr. Tom Duncan. I think you look at hitter in the dictionary and it's Charles' picture.
The kid flat out hits. And, I think over the years that's surprised everybody is his defense. When he first got to Sierra, his defense was, I would say, average or below in the outfield. And, over the next couple years, it's really got to an advanced level. And I think that's kind of the key for him to get drafted because everybody in the world knows Charles Middleton can hit. And he's proved that at every level now. So, I think if I could put my name on anybody to do a scout out there, I would say Charles is such a easy pick for me to put in an organization and trust him to be professional and really try to figure out how to be successful. And, I love Chuck, and I try to get him back every single year, I think.
I think
even if he was a senior, I'd be like, come back and play with us.
Please.
I think we make him a coach this year. I really do. I think that's the only thing we could do. He handled left field at McBean as a first time, as almost a neophyte. He handled it about as well as I've seen anybody handle it out there. I mean, that is a tough place. Even stand, it's a tough place. But to handle fly balls out there, he does a great job.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll give you my background. I went out there and tried to shag balls in left field one time, and I couldn't see a single one hit to me. So how did Charles catch anything out there?
Okay, if you had 33 minutes into the first podcast before Duncan references his own experiences
I was going to.
then you win the lottery. Way to go, my friend.
He's played every position for us.
So, Charles, we'll get him back this year. Charles at UOP hitting in the 260s, 5 home runs. He's driven in 25. I think he got a slow start. He had an injury or something beginning of the season, but the numbers are there. And every once in a while, he'll pop up on Twitter and just hit a complete bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, that's Charles and that's Lincoln. And that's, it's just great to see him doing that stuff. And we all wish the great family and everything. So Charles Middleton, our second former Potter. We stay in Lincoln for our third former Potter. This guy played the first year, didn't play the second year, then has made like cameo appearances. But if you talk Lincoln baseball, you talk Isaiah Garcia.
Apparently, Brock had pitched against the Crabs last year.
I had to play this part.
Who is this now?
Everyone had heckled him as Susan Boyle. So we made sure when he was pitching to call him Susan Boyle.
You are making me laugh. Susan Boyle.
Susan Boyle.
Man, if you're going to get saddled with somebody, I don't know if you want to be saddled with Susan Boyle.
And this year, Rad was called Joe Dirt.
There's a high fly ball to left field. Vaughn's going back,
He's going way back. He's looking up, and that ball is over the fence. A home run for Isaiah Garcia to tie this ball game up at 2. Garcia, a home run for the Potters. That's a perfect example. There's a capsule of Lincoln Potters baseball right there.
That's why I played it.
Some woman's on there talking about Joe Dirt, and all of a sudden Isaiah hits a home run, and it's like an afterthought in the whole thing.
Let's not say some woman when we're talking about the president of baseball, Isabel.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's not some woman.
Okay,
that's the woman.
All right, maybe you just saved me there.
Yes,
Thank
I think I
Thank
did.
you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is
the woman.
Isabel knows more about baseball than we do. That's for darn
True.
sure. And she probably knew Isaiah was going to hit the home run. She was just.
I think
setting
she
it up.
called it actually.
But the Susan Boyle crack was great. So Isaiah, like you said, Isaiah and Charles, they're Lincoln baseball over the last decade. He's down at Fullerton, hitting in the 260s. He also missed some time, I think, early in the season. A couple of home runs. He's driven in 12. Tell us about Isaiah Garcia.
Isaiah's, I've seen him since sophomore year of high school. I would say, between him, Middleton, and his brother, they just kind of define Lincoln baseball and the town of Lincoln and what they've brought to it. And I think the big thing about Isaiah, what he always brought to the Potters was just the steady, arrogance and confidence of what it looks like to an approach. And, he's gone through some trials in his life too, and also in baseball with moving around positions and trying to be a shortstop and an outfielder. And now he's at first base at Fullerton. So he's been through a lot, and with COVID, now he's like a super senior.
To go back with that experience should help him, and I think, I think if he doesn't get drafted, Isaiah Garcia would make a heck of a coach somewhere. With all the baseball knowledge he's wrapped in with the Fullerton and Sierra and playing under us, I think he would make a fantastic coach somewhere.
Yeah, he's kind of like a trailblazer in a way, as I keep talking to try to take all the attention off the Isabel thing. No, but when you described it perfectly, Ryan, because when Isaiah started playing,
It was almost like he was the Division I guy that we had, and the other guys on the team were like, junior college guys and stuff like that. And all of a sudden now, over time, we've added more and more Division I guys. But he was one of the first. He was our trailblazer guy almost. He was the one that came back and showed everybody, hey, you can play on this team and play Division I and come back and play on this team, and that's okay way to do it. And now, as you've talked a couple of times, that's just the pipeline right now. But he was almost the first guy that did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he showed everybody that Lincoln is a place to play.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's not. You don't need to go to the the Alaskan League or Northwoods or whatever it may be. Like, you're going to get really good baseball right here in Lincoln. So if you want to go back to NorCal after playing somewhere locally, JUCO, high school, and go to a big school, it is plenty okay to go back there and get great baseball and great coaching. And, I think he set that precedent for that.
Okay, so Isaiah kind of leads us into the new Potters segment. A couple of guys that I've seen that are referenced as becoming Potters to play with him down at Fullerton, and Jason Brando and Jackson Lyon, two guys. What do you know about these two guys who are going to be new Potters this season?
Yeah, really excited about Jackson Lyon and Jason Brando. They're right in the middle of that lineup for Fullerton. Both really physical, athletic type of players. Brando's having a heck of a season hitting. Jackson Lyon's picking it up, recently, and I think talent-wise, they're as good as it gets hearing from their coaches, and I think outfield-wise, they're very versatile. They can play, right, left, center, and when you're talking summer baseball and playing Tuesday through Sunday every single day, you need versatility, and I think both of them bring that, and they also bring some age to them. They're sophomores and juniors, I believe, and for Fullerton to send you, middle of the order guys, a little bit older guys, COVID juniors, COVID sophomores, whatever they may be, that's saying a lot where we're moving in the right direction instead of sending us a guy that didn't really play or whatever it may be. These are two of their guys, and I think they're going to have big impacts on what we're trying to do this summer.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that before, but you've referenced it a couple of times as far as how you get the players in and how the Potters have kind of improved in the eyes of the baseball public, if you will, so that now I'm not saying better class of player because all these kids can play. They just need a chance. But it seems like the referrals that we're getting are much more numerous than what we were getting before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this might be, the first year we've literally had to say no to 20 to 30 plus players.
Wow.
We got to a point where we were at 41 rostered players, and it's just like, poor Michelle, our host coordinator, is like, she's going to kill me if I keep adding
That's more
players.
families than we have in Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly. And
Is
it's
that
just
why
like,
they're building those new houses out there so they
I
can
think
house
we
all our
need-
players?
I think we need a Lincoln Potter's Apartments if Taylor's listening.
Oh, that's
Taylor
all we need.
Builders.
I know he
Taylor,
is.
Isabel, if
With
they're
the
listening,
the manager's right over there.
Yeah,
Mr. Stones McCoy.
I know
managing
he's listening. Yes.
Perfect. Then
I've
you
got
know what,
this handled.
Clifton? We're just going to need some dorms somewhere. Just throw them up.
Sketch
And we'll
something
just-
up
we'll
and we'll
just-
give it to him next week.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a lot to say about building. I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
knock that out of the park.
Okay. Well, we'll catch that next Tuesday.
So
7 p.
we'll look forward to seeing Jason and Jackson. The third guy, I had somebody else written down, and then I put out a tweet about the Potters, and I was followed by a guy who Nathan Blatnick, who I guess his son is on the team. And Stones and I agree that if you follow us, you can get anything from us.
Absolutely.
'Cause we do the show. Basically, we do the game for the parents. That's the
what-
first thing.
No, that's not basically. That's what we do.
The first thing we do. So if Dad's going to follow us,
Yeah.
we're going to let Dad know that his son Carson is. He knows he's on the team, but we're going to put him on the first show right now.
Yes.
Tell me about Carson Blatnick.
Yeah, Carson Blatnick's a catcher at Washington. He played Oakmont High School locally. He's a true freshman there at Washington, already getting playing time, doing an outstanding job for them behind the dish. And I think what Carson brings is a pedigree of family that have all played a bunch. A Blatnick is the cousins of the Blazers.
Yeah.
So Dalton and Nick Blazer that played at Sierra, and then Fullerton, and the other one played at Northridge. Nick played at Northridge, Dalton there, and Dalton got drafted by the Yankees. Dalton's dad played for the Yankees. Carson's got some bloodlines that way. I coached Austin Blatnick, his other cousin. So the family goes deep with the local area. And, Carson brings a really good left-handed bat, also a really good catcher. And he played for the River City Eagles last summer, who we played against.
Yeah, I remember.
And he, I think he was 2 for 4 and 3 for 4 against our guys who, last year I think our bullpen and our pitching staff was really well, and he handled it no problem as a senior in high school.
Wow.
So it really spoke volumes on what we're getting character-wise and also talent-wise.
Well, let me step outside of this for a second because you keyed a thought that I had before, and as a college coach, you're going to have an opinion on this. We talked about super seniors. You talked about true freshmen. What effect do you think that having these extra years are going to have on college programs as a freshman like Carson comes in? And it's tough because other people it's supposed to be the circle of life. Elton John told us that. The seniors leave or the juniors leave and then the other guys come in. And now that treadmill the conveyor belt is kind of stopped. So now how does, as a manager on the college level, do you deal with people not leaving but new people coming in too?
Yeah, I think that's what everybody was shaking their head around in the whole college world, going into this year is, gosh, what am I going to do with all 11 freshmen that I signed when 5 of my seniors aren't going anywhere?
Right.
And, I think the biggest thing is for those freshmen to understand is if you have a senior above you and an oddity like that redshirting a year or sitting out a year is actually a blessing in disguise for some kids. You get to develop another year. Your body has changes during those years. And I think that's really kind of where we're going to be at for the next couple of years is you're going to see really talented young players have to sit out, redshirt, travel with the team, have a development year, and then when it's their turn, just take off and then have their turn. And you got to hope at the D1 level that you're going to turn over some juniors and seniors that are draft eligible.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll have a problem with it. I think the people that are getting hit the hardest are probably the JUCO guys that are, turning over players every 2 years, and now you're holding on to guys the last 2 years. So that's really where it gets a little shaky, I think, for the JC guys, for the talented guys that don't get seen out of high school. They go to JUCO, and it's just a 50-man roster pretty much already set. It's like, what do you do? How do you get in there?
Yeah.
And I think that's really where you're going to see the hiccups and the speed bumps for players.
So, Jason, go ahead.
Is your roster? Are you capping? Are you at 41? Is that where the roster size is going to be?
We're at 41, and I think probably around end of June we'll maybe lose 2 guys just to one's reporting to Baylor. Brad Wilcott will be reporting to Baylor.
Okay.
And, another gentleman has to go to back to there as well for some relocation thing. He has to move and everything like that. So it's only 2, but we're still going to have around 38, 39 players for the rest of the summer.
Gotcha.
Fantastic. So Jason Brando, Jackson Lyon, Carson Blatnick coming in new. One of the teams that we play, I call it Know Your Enemy.
Yes, you do.
I know you need to come up with some crazy little
Know
name
your
for it.
enemy.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant produce something. Don't say Know Your Enemy in a dumb voice. Today it's the Solano Mudcats. based out of Vacaville. And I was reading about this on their website. Thank goodness they have one, because remember the first year we were doing games,
Nobody had one.
We were playing teams and we're looking them up, and they're like out in the ether somewhere, and then they're in the Phantom Zone or
They
something.
didn't exist on
so
on
I
the
guess
internet.
a couple of guys in Vacaville got tired of traveling to Las Vegas whenever they wanted to play, so they formed their own team back in 1990, joined the CCL R League in 2019. They'll be coming in to Lincoln on June 26th. We're going there the first time on June 10th. Do you have a history with Solano as far as the kind of teams they put out? A lot of Vacaville kids and stuff like that, which is a tremendous baseball area.
Yeah, I think Ben Crombie's their manager over there. He's real close with Cody Carrour. So I kind of met Ben through them this last season and kind of got a feel of what they're about. And yeah, they definitely sign local Solano JUCO guys, Vacaville High guys that have a pedigree of talent from somewhere that went somewhere else and come back. But I think the blessing about being in the CCL, especially teams like that, and for Ben, as long as he can find the host families or living situations, you get a lot of inquiries of players that are looking for spots. And I think, if I was Ben, I think he'd utilize that this year, and I think he has. And I think this might be his first year where he's got a lot more players traveling more out of the area than just local talent. So it's going to make for a more talented CCL, and they'll always play hard for him. And they were always talented last year. They put some guys that were from Vacaville High School that are now D1 guys that would throw against us, and he does a good job. And I think anytime you run into a CCL opponent, you're going to have a tight game. That's just how it's been.
Yeah.
Or it's a blowout one way or the other. So
yeah, that makes. I mean, the better the league is, the better it is for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fans coming out to the games too.
Mm-hmm.
So Solano Mudcats, as I say, coming in on the 26th. They go there on the 10th. So thank you, Ryan Stevens. This has been fun. This has been great. Now again.
Wait, that can't be it.
We have to think about this, because next week we're not going to have the manager of the team who knows all the players intimately when we talk.
Oh, that's true.
So you're going to have to come up with some questions for Clifton about
horse racing.
We're going to. I think he's the guy that gave.
We'll have to talk to him about.
He's the guy who dropped the steroids on Medina.
And isn't the Preakness coming up this Saturday? So we'll have two races to talk to Clifton about.
It's the Gambler,
this is going to be good.
Gambler 916.
Gambler 916.
That's what I was talking about that last night in the Generation Gap. I think that's a whole scam. They give you the number after that, and then they call you. They go, okay, we got another one on the hook right here.
There he is.
It's not to help you.
Fresh
it's to put
fish.
You're on the mailing list, buddy. All right, way to go.
I do want to ask you one more
Right
question,
ahead,
because I don't want to let Ryan off this easy. In the last several years, you've had a pretty solid core of coaches. I know that there's a couple of changes this year. Do you want to tell us about the new coaches coming into the staff and who they are and what they're all about?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of started off the segment of who we're opening up with, the Gold Sox, and breaking news in the last couple days, Brock Ragatz, Potter's legend, and also a volunteer assistant, and then my pitching guy a little bit with Cody last year.
Yeah.
Called me, and he was offered the head coach job this last couple days ago.
Breaking news, Gold Sox.
So I'm not sure the Gold Sox even announced this yet, so I'm sorry, Tom Lininger, but I'm going to break it to you because you're taking one of my guys 2 weeks before the season.
Yeah.
But Brock Ragatz is now the head coach, an instant rival to the Lincoln Potters. And so now we have to be nice to the guy. I don't really like the dynamic anymore. So
hey, Brock,
we'll see.
Okay,
no more. Okay, that's it.
First of all, great question, Stones, to get that out of him. Secondly, when we met Brock, he couldn't get one guy out. Now he's going to try to get 27 of you out. I don't know how that's going to work.
I like our odds on that. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as all of a sudden the Ryan Stevens show on the first game is going to be followed by the Brock Raggett show.
It's going to have
to have Brock on to talk about that. That is fantastic news.
Oh wow.
We are actually quite pleased to hear that. That's really great.
Well, good for Brock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as long as we're talking about that, again, great question. Let's talk about Brock from sometimes relief pitcher to intern that sat up with us for 1 year to sort of pitching coach to manager. I know it's just the summer league thing, but it's a nice little story.
Can we just say what the hell?
Yeah, we can say that. Okay. Can they have anybody else in town?
You can. But
Yuba City has a lot of people.
I know. Well, I know Brock Stassi decided to play again, and that's kind of what left.
Oh, there you go.
Stassi did?
Yeah, so he's going to the Atlantic League, I believe, and they coach together at William Jessup. And, Brock has had one of those nice carousels of networking himself.
Yeah.
And, Brock really applies himself to what he's doing. And I think we saw that last summer and knew that Brock would be special in the coaching world. So, seeing him grow this fast, I'm not surprised. seeing him leave us, not happy about
Not
it.
happy.
But at the same time, I'm always going to tell my guys to take something that's going to bolster their resume. I'm never going to hold them back. And I would say that the same about the players. Like, if you have something better, you got something to do that you think is better for you, you need to go do it.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where Brock falls on this whole thing is, if this is an opportunity to get your name out there and do something better, I think that's where we're at. And, we've had a shakeup in the coaching realm.
I was just going to say,
this is a segment that could be a whole segment on its own.
I didn't even mean to do this to you.
But
But
you did it to me.
You started another podcast.
Yeah, I
did it to
did.
me, and here we go. I think Scott's been great for us as a hitting guy, outfield guy. He's running a business now for Pro Form Baseball, and he's doing a lot of individual lessons that take up a ton of time. And I don't think he could really commit full time. So I think we're gonna have him in the facility. If guys want to work there, they can, but I'm not sure he'll be on the field.
Gotcha.
And then Cody has just really stepped up in the solar game. So kind of the same thing. It's more, what am I doing for my family right now?
Yeah,
sure.
And I think he's in the same boat, that I'll be there when I can, but not really around. So as of right now, it's the me and JP show.
Wow.
We're grinding it out, and officially as of 5:45 before I got here, Jesse Garcia is pitched at UNLV, pitched in Indy Ball. And he'll be our new pitching coach.
Oh, Jesse Garcia.
Just happened.
That's very cool.
Yeah, me and him played together on our state championship team in Sierra.
Yes, I was going to say,
he's-
didn't you guys play together?
Yeah, he's locally grown. He went to El Camino High School. Has a huge pedigree and resume of coaching the younger kids at the travel ball level with Sierra Nevada Wolves with Kyle Richardson, who I played with as well. And, with his pitching in the D1 experience, and then also the semi-pro and Indy Ball and stuff like that, he's going to be a great fit for what we're looking for. He's kind of going to replace Brock right away and immediately advance into the role what we were looking for Brock to do.
Yeah.
And so we're extremely blessed to have the networking we do to hire guys that are just as good as who we got rid of and or had to do another job. But I think that's exciting for me because it's another guy I know that I trust, that
Absolutely.
I know that the pitcher's going to be in great hands. So that's our 3 set guys. We're looking for a volunteer assistant as we speak. So if
Can
we
I
get
not volunteer
Stones
for that?
off the radio,
I cannot volunteer for that?
After the show, you
Okay.
can talk to Ryan. Right now, we're trying to wrap it up. I don't need you going out and applying for jobs.
Well, I'm just, I'm here. I'm here to do whatever Potters need me to do.
Yes,
You
and
know?
I have a lot of jobs for you to
I
do
know
on
you
this side
do.
of the
Everybody's
camera,
got all
okay?
kinds
that's
of
a
stuff
shout
for
out. I guess that's really a shout out to my players that have just finished or something, and if they're listening, it's like we're looking for that just baseball rat that wants to be around
Yeah.
and help our guys through. And
I think we were blessed with Willie a couple years back, and then Brock. It's like you got 2 really good Potters guys that were around that really helped the team dynamic and helped us throw batting practice and really do something that affected the team. And we're kind of looking for one more head. I know me and JP are going to be worn out batting practice wise by the end of the season. But
Well, I can volunteer you a batting practice.
All right, I'll do that again.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
there we go. But no, we're excited, man. I think, like I said, I love Cody and Scott and Brock.
you
And
too.
we
we
love
love them all. And if they're around at some capacity, that's going to be awesome. And they've done so much for this program and so much for me, helping me get my feet into the ground. And I'm extremely blessed to have them by my side. And I'm obviously wishing them the best with their businesses and keep growing.
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. That's Ryan
Absolutely.
Stevens, our guest today on the first ever Pottercast, which, thanks to Stones McCoy and his innocuous question, we're breaking news like crazy
Hey,
over
baby,
here.
that's
We're
what
like,
I
we
do.
need the breaking news sounder.
I know. Clifton's probably listening right now like, oh, all
Wait,
right.
what in the hell?
Clifton's over there going, I got to listen to the show. I'm finding out everything. Well, Clifton, you'll be listening next week because Clifton will be our
sitting
our
right
guest. If you want to send us some questions for Clifton or just some questions or response to the show,
Yes.
how can people do that? So
The best way to submit questions, if you want to do it via email, do it via pottersradio@yahoo.com. So you can get in touch with us at any point in time at pottersradio@yahoo.com. You can also, an easy way is Twitter. So at
There you go.
Phantom Radio 60,
Yep.
at Stones_McCoy. That's at Ryan_Stevens24, I
24,
believe.
yeah.
You can ask him direct questions, but he'll just forward them to me and I'll answer them for
Right,
you.
exactly.
But those are all the great ways. And then we also have the phone number, 916-367-4774.
Didn't even think of
Okay,
that.
that is the Potters hotline. We are going to use it this year. Okay, we're
Yes, we
going
are.
to use it. So if you want, just leave us a voicemail when we're not on the air. Ask away, and we might even play it on the air for you.
And we're going to use Twitter too. You're telling me one of our we're going to
Yes,
one of our special innings is going to be Twitter-based.
Absolutely.
So more on that to come, obviously. So thanks, Ryan, for being the guest on the first Pottercast show. You'll always have that in your back pocket.
Always.
As you go through life.
Love
you know,
that.
when you're on the the major league camp, they're going to, is this a great thing? You get to coach this great player, Mike Trout. And, well, yeah, but I was on the Pottercast, so that was pretty exciting, too. Clifton's our guest next week. 7 o'clock next week is when we're going to go
7 p.
with the second week of the Pottercast. We'll have more players. We'll have more former players to catch up with. We'll have more current players to talk about. We'll just have a lot more to do. Thanks for joining us. Please join us next time on Pottercast. Potter up.